All right, so you know MWF, right? You're here for the deep dives, and today we are going even deeper. Because forget the usual stuff, the on-air mayhem. This is about something else entirely.
Oh, yeah, this is behind the scenes. This is secret. This is
Okay.
on a weapons test,
Uh,
a secret weapons
with
test.
Mike and Schwatten alone
Amazing.
in the Schwatten bunker. And we're going to analyze what this really tells
Yeah,
us.
this is about power and how this connects to everything else. All this stuff you think you know about MWF, this is going to change it.
Exactly. Because what we have here are Romanka's security camera tapes.
Oh, Ramanka, always the quiet one in the background. Turns out he was observing everything, every little thing.
Every little thing. And those tapes, they give us a transcript of episode 466. And this transcript, this is our focus, gives us a look at Mike and Schwatten like we've never seen them before.
Unfiltered,
Yeah.
raw, no audience, no performance, just them. And this weapon.
So, the transcript, E466, starts in the Schwatten bunker. You know the place, right? I mean, imagine it. Weapon props everywhere, empty beer bottles, that kind of chaotic vibe they always had.
Classic MWF, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's this one detail that jumps out at you. The Fliesentisch. It's mentioned a lot.
Yeah, the flies and tish. Why is that tiled table so important? More on that later.
Oh, we'll get to that. But first, the players. Mike, well, he's like his usual self in the transcript, energetic.
Mhm.
But there's something else there, too. An edge of nervousness, like he's not really sure what's going on.
And Schwatten, well, he's in control, completely. Every word he says is a command, no question about it.
You can feel the power dynamic right there in the transcript. It's clear who is calling the shots.
And then there's this device sitting right there on the Fliesentisch. The transcript describes it as strange, futuristic, blinking lights, all these weird components. What is this thing?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
This isn't just some random gun like the stuff we usually see on the show. This is different, advanced, maybe even a little bit scary.
All right, so let's break down what actually happens in this test. In the transcript, Mike's asking all these hesitant questions, and Schwatten is giving these really short, cryptic answers, and he keeps saying this one phrase, the next level.
The next level. Almost like a mantra. You get the feeling that Schwatten is obsessed with pushing boundaries, going further than anyone else. But is it worth the risk?
Right, because Mike's getting more and more nervous as they go through these steps to activate the device. And it's like Schwatten isn't even phased. He's totally focused, just watching the device, taking notes.
He's a scientist in that moment, not a showman. Detached, clinical even. But that makes what happens next even more disturbing.
Because then everything goes crazy. There's a surge of light, this bright pulse, and then boom, this huge violent noise.
You can practically feel the energy in that transcript. It's chaotic,
Yeah.
uncontrolled. And Mike, he's freaking out. He's yelling, "What was that? Is everything all right?"
But Schwatten, he's just standing there, completely calm, taking more notes, like it was all part of the plan.
The contrast is chilling. Mike is worried, concerned about the immediate danger. And Schwatten, he sees data. He sees potential. The human cost doesn't seem to faze him at all.
So the test is over, and the Schwatten bunker is trashed. There are weapon props all over the floor, broken bottles. Even the Fliesentisch is cracked and shifted. And Mike, he's just staring at it all in shock.
It's not just a metaphor anymore. The damage is real, tangible. This test, it had real-world consequences, destructive consequences.
And what does Schwatten say? Collateral damage, he says. Unavoidable with this kind of innovation. Like it was nothing. He's more interested in the results, how powerful the weapon is.
Classic Schwatten, downplaying the risks, focused on the end goal. But you have to wonder, at what cost?
And then he tells Mike to clean it all up. And to keep quiet about the whole thing. Don't tell anyone, he says.
That's a red flag right there. Why all the secrecy? What is Schwatten so afraid of? What doesn't he want people to know?
And the transcript ends with Mike just completely defeated, leaning against the broken Fliesentisch. And he keeps muttering, "The next level, Herr Schwatten, the next level."
It's haunting. Like he's been brainwashed, completely under Schwatten's control. And whatever the next level is, it can't be good.
So let's take a step back here. Think about all of this in the context of the wider MWF story. Because this isn't just an isolated event. This secret test, it reveals so much about the dark underbelly of MWF.
Absolutely. This is about Schwatten's control over Mike, about how far he's willing to go, about the dangerous secrets lurking beneath the surface of the show.
We know from the briefing document that Mike was struggling, becoming more unstable, and you have to wonder, did this test push him over the edge? The fear, the secrecy, the destruction. It must have had a huge impact on him.
Yeah, this wasn't just some fun experiment. This was traumatic. And for Mike, who was already vulnerable, it could have been devastating.
And then there's the Fleischentisch. Why does it keep coming up? Damaged in the test, mentioned in Mike's later messages to Romanka. It's like it represents something bigger, something broken in their relationship, in their world.
I think you're right. It's more than just a table. It's a symbol of their shared history, of the damage that Schwatten is inflicting, both physically and psychologically.
Remember when Romanka left MWF, episode 563? It was always a bit of a mystery, right? But what if this is why he left? What if he saw this test, saw how reckless Schwatten was being, and decided he couldn't be a part of it anymore?
Makes sense, right? Romanka always seemed like the moral compass of the group.
Yeah.
This kind of dangerous, secretive experiment might have been the final straw for him.
And then, not long after Romanka leaves, Kyrem arrives. Is that a coincidence? Or was he brought in to deal with the fallout of this test? To clean up Schwatten's messes? To take on the things Romanka refused to do?
That's a really interesting point. We know Chiron was more than just a technician. He had skills, connections. Maybe Schwatten needed someone like that after Romanka left, someone who could handle the increasingly dangerous and secretive nature of his work.
So what about the weapon itself? Where did it come from? Was it one of Grindman's prototypes? Or was it something even more advanced, something connected to Wickard and his obsessions?
Yeah, remember, Rickard was really into those theoretical weapons, those particle cannons. And the transcript describes this device as futuristic. Maybe it's not a coincidence. Maybe Schwatten was tapping into some of those same dangerous ideas.
Which makes you think about all those other strange events. The Mayday call from the Nova crew about Regulus 5 being a trap, the weird stuff happening in the Doza crew logbook. Could this weapon, this test, be connected to all of that?
It's a huge leap, sure, but it's not impossible. We're talking about powerful, potentially dangerous technology here. What if it's not just limited to Earth? What if Schwatten is messing with forces he doesn't fully understand?
And don't forget about Rickard's arrest. He was going to reveal something, some kind of secret information. Could it have been about this weapon? About what Schwatten was doing in the Schwatten bunker?
It's certainly possible. Rickard always had a knack for sniffing out secrets. Maybe he stumbled onto something big, something that threatened Schwatten's entire operation. And maybe that's why he ended up in jail?
So that's it. That's the story of the secret weapons test. But it's more than just a story, isn't it? It's a window into the heart of MWF. The power, the secrets, the danger.
Yeah, this is about more than just a weapon. It's about ambition, control, and the dark side of innovation. It's about what happens when someone like Schwatten has too much power and what he's willing to sacrifice to achieve his goals.
And that leaves us with one final question. What was the point of all of this? What was Schwatten trying to achieve with this weapon, with this test? And what will the consequences be for Mike, for MWF, for the world?
That's for you to decide. Look at the evidence, consider the connections, and draw your own conclusions. Because the truth about MWF, it's out there. You just have to be willing to dig a little deeper.
Deeper. Yeah, that's what we do here.